Record. Good morning and welcome to Nursery and Reception's Reading Conference. I really appreciate you joining us, whether you're here live talking to us or you're watching this back on record. It was really important this year that we tried to get everybody to watch and see the videos because things have changed a lot. So obviously reading and phonics and the teaching of still the same. However, the way that your child's going to learn may differ. And so it was really important that we ensured that parents have the knowledge to support their children. Because one of the things we've noticed coming back from lockdown is the biggest impact of being at home for 6 months on most children is their progress in phonics and in reading. One of the ways that we ensure children make really good progress is that we are very repetitive in our teaching, and we do phonics sessions every single day. We repeat all of the sounds that the children know and are learning, and that repetitive nature of phonics ensures that it goes into children's long-term memories. And what we've found is even the information that we knew the children were concrete with before they went into lockdown, we know that a lot of that's been lost learning. And so what we've had to now do is up the ante again in school of making sure that we fill back that void so that we can catch children up to where they were going to be. Obviously the same with reading, that actually children make best progress when they read. We always say in our reading workshops, learning to read needs good teaching and good practice. And actually, you know, over lockdown, unfortunately, the children have suffered from not having that practice time. And so we have seen that massively in children's progress. So for us, it was really important to ensure in these different times that we made sure that parents have the knowledge to be able to support their children. We haven't got time to teach every parent through Bolsover the ins and outs of teaching phonics and reading. So what we wanted to do is give parents enough support and enough knowledge to know how important these basic literacy skills are for children's progress. Now, as a school, we have just finished our catch-up plan, and the idea is that by Christmas we will have made great headway into the progress of children, so that we can try and catch children up with where they need to be. We are not going to be able to do that without parents' help. So as we're saying, we are encouraging every family to join a workshop to make sure that you've got all the knowledge that you need. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the basics of phonics and reading for early years, and then we're going to show you the support that we've put in place via our websites. And then at the end, we're just going to have a quick look at our blended and remote learning plan, so that as parents, if and when we have to go into lockdown or quarantine, you've got all the resources that you need in order to be able to continue teaching your children. So I'm going to start a video, and this is generally where the IT lets us down. So if you just hang fire with me, because I now have to stare at a screen and share with you. So if you give me a minute, Miss Cooper has made a video with all the information that you need on. So I will get that playing, and if it plays appropriately, I'm sure Miss Cooper will nod and make sure we all know what's happening. So if you give me 2 minutes, I will get that going. So Miss Cooper, will you just unmute yourself, sorry, and when I press play, will you just let me know that you can see this?
Welcome to the early reading meeting. Thank you for taking the time to listen today. We will share with you the importance of speaking and listening, how we read in school, phonics teaching, and how you can help at home. So this is just a snapshot of all the benefits of reading to your child. Now more than ever before, we need parents to read regularly to or with their children. If a child is immersed in words, their vocabulary is extended, and this has a hugely positive effect on their educational success. Speaking and listening. Speaking and listening are vital skills children need to develop in order to live successful lives in society. They are key skills for children developing their ability to read and write. Especially in the early years, speaking and listening is very important because children learn new words and vocabulary and learn to use these appropriately. What you can do: talk to your child, Ask them open-ended questions. For instance, what was the best part of your day today? Model and expect good listening. So ensure you are on your child's level, have good eye contact, and make sure your child is looking and really listening to what you are saying. So it's a two-way conversation, and this will also encourage them to listen and take in instructions. Encourage the understanding and use of new vocabulary, sing songs, rhymes, and read poems, enjoying the rhyme and rhythm of words, and read to your child regularly and develop their story language. So when you have read a story, have a time where you can discuss what you have read. Did they like the characters? Who was their favorite character? What happened at the beginning, middle, and end? Did you like it? Why did you like it? That kind of thing. Reading at school. So your child will have a range of books from Oxford Reading Tree, Dandelion Reading, or Julia Donosso's Songbirds. This is linked to their phonics skills and at the current stage that they are working at. They will have a guided reading session once weekly in reception. This will be a chance for your child to develop their comprehension skills and encourage your child to talk about the different text types. So is it a fiction or a non-fiction, and what the features look like. They will have an individual read at least once weekly, and both in nursery and reception, they will have phonics. In reception, this is 20 minutes daily, and they will learn to blend sounds in words, segment, spell words, learn tricky words. They'll have shared reading, story time, and book club. So your child needs to ensure that they have their book bag in school every day, so it's got their reading diary in there and we can see what you've been doing at home. We do like you to read at least 5 times if possible. Reading at home. So your child will have one book in their book bag, which is at the appropriate level to where they are in phonics. And make sure this is in school every day. We would encourage you to log on to book club so everybody's got a username, which is individual to them. The password is the same for everybody, and the school code you will have access to. And on book club, they have a phonics book that is at their level again, and also lots of phonics games are on there. This is counted as one of their 5 weekly reads, so please record this in their reading diary as well. Find a quiet place for reading, play reading games. You might want to do this when you're in the car, looking at road signs. Let them see you reading as well, reading for enjoyment, reading the newspaper, picking up a book, so they see it's second nature. Sing the Jolly Phonics songs on YouTube, and have a story time or a bedtime routine where you read a book and share it with your child on a regular basis. And follow your child's lead. What are they into? Read books that develop their knowledge if they have a particular interest in a certain topic, or they might be interested in things like Thomas the Tank Engine or a comic. Follow your child's lead and make it enjoyable. Phonics. So it's a whole new vocabulary that your child will learn and understand what it means. So phonics is the learning of letters and sounds. Phoneme is a sound a letter makes. The grapheme is the written letter to show the phoneme. Segmenting is breaking up a word into its smaller parts. Blending is putting all the sounds together. Tricky words are the words that cannot be decoded. The CVC, consonant and vowel. So these are things like cat, dog, mop, hat. Digraph is a sound made with 2 letters. For instance, it might be CH, makes the ch digraph, or SH, which makes the ch digraph, or NG, which makes the ng digraph. Phonetically plausible. This is where your child will have a try using their phonics knowledge and it makes sense. So they're hearing the sounds that will be in a word and writing it down to match those sounds. Phonics. Letters and sounds and jolly phonics is what we use in school. We have our own school phonics policy. It's a structured program. It has 6 phases. It's fast-paced. We have lots of consolidation. We do blending for reading, segmenting for writing, and tricky words. So here is a reception high frequency reading list. And this is a list of words that your child are expected to learn and read by sight by the end of reception in preparation for year 1. So they will start reading these words in nursery all the way through to reception. So you might want to make some flashcards. So when you're doing your reading, you might want to record this in the reading diary as well, and this will count towards their reading. So there is group 1 phonics, and this is what we concentrate on in nursery. And this is phase 1 of letters and sounds, and it concentrates on developing children's speaking and listening skills and lays the foundations for the phonic work, which starts in phase 2. The emphasis during phase 1 is to get children to listen to the sounds around them and ready to begin developing oral blending and segmenting skills. So phase 1 is divided into 7 aspects, and each aspect contains 3 strands: tuning into the sounds, listening and remembering sounds, and talking about sounds, developing vocabulary and language and comprehension. Group 2 is learning specific letter sounds, and these are set out in sets. And then they are taught to read the tricky words I, go, no, to, and the, and blending and segmenting VC as CVC words and in captions and sentences. And in nursery, they will also have the letter of the week, which will concentrate on all of those sounds in group 2. So here you can see a group 2, phase 2 sound map. And these are all the sounds that we cover in phonics. We want children to make sure they are using pure sounds. So for instance, when they are trying to spell the word mum, it's not m or m, it's or m. It's not n, it's n. It's not f, it's f. If you want to check that you are using the pure sounds, you can log on to the school website and there is a video that will show you how to make sure you are producing the pure sounds. So in group 3, this is taught in reception. We introduce those digraphs. So those are the 2 letters making 1 sound. These include things like the CH, SH, sh, NG, TH, and we have more tricky words for reading. For instance, these will include words like he, she, me, be, we. And then they will be encouraged to read and spell CVCC words and CCVCC words. They will also continue to do lots of blending, segmenting, reading and writing words, captions and sentences with those tricky words from group 2. So they will be encouraged to write the words and spell I, the, to, no, and go, and include these within their sentences. So in phonics, right from the very start, we use sound buttons so the children can see the individual phonemes in the words. So as you can see here, we've got the word cat. So we would put a sound button underneath the k sound, a sound button underneath the a sound, and a sound button under the t sound. And you can encourage your child to read the words by pressing the sound button and getting your child to say the sound k, a, t, and then blend it, cat. And then you can see an example of a word with a digraph in it. So those two letters making one sound, the S and the H, sh, and then I and P. So you can get your child to, again, when you touch the line to show it's a digraph, they can say sh and press the button I, press the button P, ship, ship, and so on. So working at home, you need to check Seesaw for weekly homework. So in nursery, they will have the letter of the week homework. And in reception, they will also have some phonics homework. Make sure you are reading regularly at home. Please make sure you are reading at least 5 times a week. In nursery, they will be given a library book. Please share this with them. They have also got book club in both reception and nursery. And once nursery are ready, they will be sent home with an individual reading book also and a reading diary. Please make sure you record any reading that you do in the reading diary, and please keep practicing those tricky words as well. Remember, learning to read is like any other skill, but the most important skill they will ever need. So just like riding a bike, learning to skip, driving a car, football skills, they all take practice and they don't just happen magically by themselves. So keep practicing it. I hope this has been useful. If you do have any more questions, please feel free to ask me or send a message on Seesaw. Thank you.
Okay, so hopefully that was quite informative for some of you that have probably not had children come through school before. There's quite a few points in there that are really important. The one around speaking and listening and communication is really important for our very young children. And one of the things that we recommend to parents around communication is a running commentary. And it's something really easy that can be done at any point that a child's playing. And literally all we ask is that as children are playing, the parent or the adult that's with them literally just does a running commentary of what the child's doing. So you might say, oh, you've picked up your dolly, lovely. Oh, now you're giving your dolly some milk and the dolly's now going to bed. Or you're playing with your cars, lovely. Oh, is that car going along the road? Because as you're doing that commentary, the children are, one, getting used to listening and hearing, but two, adding to their vocabulary, which is another reason why we ask you from a very young age to be sharing books with your children, which is why as soon as children start in nursery, we encourage them to take a storybook home before they're even ready really for those their own reading skills. We ask that parents model to the child reading skills at a very basic level of sharing a book, because the words in the book, along with the words that you're using with their child, really build up for your child a real good strength of vocabulary. And what we know about children is the children that start school in the early years setting, who have the best vocabulary, a very confident and competent speaking ability and can communicate really well, we know that they're in the best position to progress. And so no matter where a child comes from, the children who have the strongest ability in speaking and listening generally are the most successful in school. So wherever you can, that opportunity to commentate on what your child's doing, whether that be play or whether you're getting dressed in the morning or if you're going to the shops, that running commentary of what you're doing really does help in terms of a child's development, alongside that modelling of reading books. And so we do encourage as a school not only the reading of a book once a child's developing their own skills, but that listening to a parent read and sharing a book, because it's really vital for children's development. Now, Miss Cooper talked about once the child does learn some very basic skills, so that might be the end of this academic year in reception, in nursery, but certainly into reception, we will start sharing with you books with words in. So Miss Cooper may send home some books with no words in, and that's about that running commentary about what's happening on the page. But once children move over into books with words in, we really do ask you that you are reading them as much as possible. Now, generally parents in the early years say, well, they're just repeating the book, they're just remembering it, they're not reading it. Well, actually, that's one of the first skills we want to develop with children, to understand that that word on the page says the same thing every time you go back to it. So if your child remembers that book and's reading it over and over again, that means they understand that print carries meaning, and that's the first stages. And then as the phonics skills fall into place, the children will then use those phonics skills to identify letters and sounds and then words within that text. So if your child at this moment in time is literally just remembering the book and repeating it, that's fab, because they're on the way to becoming a competent reader, which is why we ask for parents to be reading more regularly. Now, in school, we've always had a policy of 3 reads at home a week. We have upped that since we've come back from lockdown to 5. As we say, children missed a lot of time with reading over lockdown, and even the children that are in nursery now, while they were at home, they will have missed all the opportunities around access to text in the community, even just visual representations. And so we do believe it's really important for children to be getting that opportunity more than ever to read and to be read to and to access books themselves. Book clubs are a really good place to do that, because they can do that on technology, and everybody should have their own unique username and password for that. But obviously there are books in their book bag. Now, we do ensure that every child has a phonic book that is at their own ability, but we also have a collection of reading books, and the children are happy to change them whenever they need to. So if you drop your child off and you want them to get a new book, just mention it to one of the adults at the door, and they will supervise them changing their books. Now, it's said that the children will do a shared reading session with the whole class, sharing books. They will do a guided reading session with the teacher at their own level. They'll also have an independent read with the teacher. But then throughout the week, we do look for people to come in and read with children, even in this lockdown sort of period where we've got COVID regulations in place. We have got regulations for visitors, because it's really important that children read as regularly as possible. So if anybody has got any time and they can volunteer to come in and listen to children read, please do contact your child's teacher and they'll get that organised. So not only can you listen to your own child at home, but you can also support us as a school supporting other children. So we'd love that if anybody's available. Now, Miss Cooper used a lot of different language through that presentation, especially around consonants and vowels and CVC words, as in consonant, vowel, consonant, and CCVCC words. And you end up in a world of teacher talk. And so what we wanted to be able to do is unpick that a little bit for parents. So what you'll see, some of you may have already been on. Again, I'm going to share my screen, so bear with me while I'm talking and clicking at the same time. But what you will have seen is we've had a new look website over lockdown. We've worked really hard on the website over the summer months to ensure that there's a lot of support for parents in there. So if you go into the parent tab, onto curriculum and down to phonics, that will take you to a brand new look phonics page. What you'll see is a video there. That's a pre-made video from Oxford Reading Tree, with very much the same information as Miss Cooper's just delivered you. But you're welcome to sit and watch that. That should tell you what phonics is. A little bit of a description about Monster Phonics, which is one of the new phonics schemes we're using. A little bit about Jolly Phonics, and they're all the songs and things children will start to learn, especially in reception, but they do cover those in nursery as well. And if you click on each of these pictures, they do take you to those relative websites. And then down the bottom here is the links for the Black Cat series, which is for nursery and reception, and then later on the Monster Phonics series. So we are going to look in that page in a moment, but then I just wanted to point down here for you, this phonics and reading tab here. If you click on that, that takes you to our reading page on the website, and on there are the videos that Miss Cooper referred to that talk about pure sounds and phonics. So there is plenty of information on there, and then there's a couple of other websites that have got lots of phonics games. in there as well. So if you click on the black cat, he then will take you to a new site. This is just for our nursery and reception children. It asks you for a password, and the password is lowercase parent. Now, the reason it's got a password is not because it's got anything safeguarding in there for children, but we've had to pay for some of these videos, and so we can't just leave them out for the general public to be able to click on. So we have got a password in there. Obviously, now you've accessed this video, you know the password. So the password is parent. Obviously, we ask you not to share it with everybody, but it isn't for safeguarding reasons, it's for copyright reasons. So this is the early years phonics page. So all that information Miss Cooper's just shared about phase 1, there's another video there with all that information on again. So if it was too fast in our presentation today, please do go back and have another look at that, especially for nursery parents, because that's where your basic phonics starts. Now we still continue phase 1 into reception, even though we're delivering on phase 2 and 3, because those basic phonic sounds that children, basic phonic skills children are developing in phase 1 are really important. And then what you'll see we've done is we've put you a very clear description of what the children should be able to do in each of the phases. But as you can see, when I scroll over, the titles highlight and underline. That's because if you click on that title, it will open a video up that you can actually show your child and share with them. So each of the titles has a video connected with an example of what that means. So for parents in nursery, you know, please do go in there, have a look, have a watch of the videos and talk about those with your child. So they're the very basic phonic skills. And then there's a website there that's got lots of phase 1 phonic games on. Then we move on to phase 2. Again, there's a description of what phase 2 is trying to teach. And then this grid's very important because these are all the sounds your child will know by the end of reception. If you click where it says here, that takes you to the Jolly Phonics songs, and it will tell you what all the Jolly Phonics songs are for each letter. Now, Jolly Phonics is an interesting website because what somebody's done is they've made each of the letters kinesthetic. So there's a song to listen to, a video to watch, and there's actions to move. So the very basic one is the A. The children all, because it's the first one they kind of meet, is the A, is an ant that runs up your arm like that. So you may see children when they're saying, when they see A, they may start doing this, A. And so all of those videos are on there. And I think you've probably had a leaflet in your book bags about these actions as well. But if you look on the table, as you hover over each letter, there is a video connected with every single one of these letters. So over lockdown, myself and Miss Cooper have been very busy trawling YouTube to find a video for each one of these letters. So if you know that that week's letter of the week is S, you can click on the letter and watch that video with your child. And so we really recommend that parents do that. So that's the phonic page. If I go right back up to the top under curriculum, there is also a reading page. And if you click on that, it goes through the importance, a lot of what we've just spoke about, but there's more information on there on the reading. This leaflet in particular is really very interesting because this is about reading with your child. So there's a lot of information on there about how to get your child to read with you. So that's for you to access by yourself. We don't need to read that now. There's a lot of information about the skill of reading. And over your time in school, you'll see that we deliver these workshops to every different year group because at each point, the children need different skills. In early years, a lot of the skills are around high frequency flashcards and phonics, because what they're trying to do is work out what the words say. As we then move through, there's much more of a focus on the fluency and the comprehension. And there's a lot of information in there about all of those things. And then this is where this video will be posted in here. So there's the year 1 workshop, there's the year 2, and we will post the reception one in here too. And then there's some little friends that may help you when you're reading at home with your child. So I'm going to leave that for you to have a look at yourself, because I wanted to just take this moment just to have a look at this tab, which is the remote learning tab. So what I suggest you do is you have a good surf around our new website because there's lots of new things on there. this page in particular is where every parent needs to go, because if your child ends up in quarantine, this is where you get your learning from. Whether they are a child from home needing to go into quarantine, or whether the school or your class go into lockdown, this is where you come. So remote learning is that one child in quarantine at home for a week or two because either they or their family members have had COVID. Now, obviously, if a child's ill, we don't expect them to be working. But if they're at home and well, after the first day, they would expect to be homeschooled. And this is where you get all your information. And the same if a bubble was closed down. This is where you would get all your information for learning and homeschooling from here on in. So really, for those of you that were here last year with us through lockdown and moved into reception, all the information that came to you via Seesaw and via the Facebook, all will come to you now in one organised place on the website. So there's a little bit about the principles of our remote and blended learning plan for our school. So that gives you sort of our reasons for. And then under here, it tells you what you can expect from us if we're in blended remote learning and then blended learning. When you're in blended learning, obviously the teacher would be at home as well, and so would have the ability to give you more information and lots more videos. Now, we do say it probably will be videos rather than live feeds like this. One, because the internet's not always as strong and not always as useful really with 3 to 7 year olds. But also that a lot of our teachers have young children of their own. So the likelihood is that they will be homeschooling as well. And so the likelihood is they'll be sending videos that they can make in their own time and posting them throughout the day. So this is where you'll get all that information. But those videos and the feedback will come to you via Seesaw. So it's really important that you've downloaded the class Seesaw app and the family Seesaw app, because you will have seen this already on our Note Home, but our communication plan is very clear that we will communicate with you day to day via texting. We will send information to you that are in letter forms via emails. We will communicate every Friday in a Note Home while ever the school is open. And then the teacher will talk to you via Family Seesaw. Your child will talk to the teacher via Class Seesaw. Our website is where we post everything that everyone needs to access. And then we do use Facebook just to keep people up to date. So there's a lot of information there. And then there is the plan. So if your child's in nursery, reception's exactly the same. You click on the tile and it'll take you to the nursery curriculum page. There's lots of information about their normal curriculum on the top of that page. Then the expectations of remote and blended learning, those things you need to do now in preparation. And then each week, the teacher will be uploading a plan for the week. So as you can see, today's the 12th. If you click on the tab for the 12th, that will have this week's home learning on for your child. And so that's a really important place to go. So hopefully that has shared with you a lot of information around phonics, reading, our new website and where you can get any support, and then a little bit about our remote and blended learning plan so people are prepared. Now we're hoping in the next few weeks to be preparing a workshop just like this for maths. So we look forward to seeing you in an early years workshop for maths soon. The reading ones were easier to deliver because the reading and the phonics we already delivered as a workshop, but the maths will be coming online soon and I hope you'll be able to join us then. That's all we needed to share with you. You are very welcome to put back your videos, turn your videos on, unmute your mic and ask any questions. Me and Miss Cooper are here for the next couple of minutes if people have got any questions they want to ask. Thank you. Hi, Jo.
Morning. Hi, Miss Cooper, just a quick question. Arthur keeps asking me for the tricky word songs, is that something I can access off the website or is it something you use separately? During choosing time, he keeps saying, I want the tricky word song, but I don't know what it is.
If you log on to YouTube and put in Tricky Words Phase 2, it will come up.
Lovely.
We'll probably put a link for that on the page, on the web page.
Yeah.
That's easy enough.
Lovely, thank you.
Anyone else, any questions or comments? We're happy to answer for you. Fab. Hopefully that was really useful for you. As I say, if you have got any questions or later on you go away, think about it or see the videos and want to ask anything, please, ask the teachers on the Family Seesaw app. The teachers are very knowledgeable about all of these things. They've all had exactly the same training by myself or Miss Cooper. And obviously they're dealing with this day in, day out with the children in the classes. So if you do need any support, please do use the teachers. Or ask your children, because I'll tell you what, their phonics skills in the next few weeks will come on immensely. They already have in the last 4. So, please do use them. Use the website as much as you can. You can see how much hard work's gone into it. And it will continue to develop over the next few weeks. If anybody's got any questions, please do hang around. If not, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to working with you in person soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.